What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. How y'all doing today? Stream a day 2702. Hope you're doing well. We're trying out some new settings. Chloe posted a video from EPOSVox in the Discord today, and it was very interesting. It seems like we actually can have extremely low latency, but it takes more than just turning on the low latency setting on Twitch.
I am the Lord.
We witness the creation of future gamer moments tonight.
Teacher, thank you for 27 months.
Yes, I am the Lord.
Co-wave, co-cake, co-wave.
Lone Wolf, thank you for 34 months. So it appears that if you're on Source, if you're watching on Source, the latency is extremely low. Which you can probably test by just looking at the chat on screen right now. But it should be like a second and a half. That's awesome. So I am using an entirely different encoder now. It's still NVENC, but it's the Stream Effects plugin NVENC. I don't know how this is going to affect the stream. It shouldn't really affect anything. Hopefully there's no quality degradation. Should be relatively the same as normal, except for with much lower latency. So thank you, Chloe, for sharing that video. It does appear, of course, if you're transcoding the stream at all, that you will have more latency. So it takes a little time for Twitch to actually transcode it down to 720p or whatever else. Oh, well, yeah. It also depends on your connection to the Twitch servers, of course, too. I don't know what it generally was before doing this, so it's not the best test, unfortunately. Oh yeah, VPNs would probably add a bit of latency on top of everything. So we are going to be jumping back into the tutorial tonight. Where we left off is we have a usables system now. So rather than just picking up guns automatically like by passing into their collision box, we now have to press a use key to pick them up. So I can pick up the shotgun, I can pick up the Uzi, I can pick up this artifact. Doesn't really have a function yet because it's the last thing we did. I can go up behind the guard and hit the use key to quote-unquote knock them out. Hello? I guess I did it? I had to get very close. Like, practically touching them. The guards also are more intelligent now. They get mad, and they try to shoot you. They hunt you down. And they have a little bit of a reaction time delay, which is cool. So they'll look at you, and then a moment will pass, and then they'll start firing, which is nice, because previously they were like lasers. That's what's missing from skeletons in Minecraft, by the way. The skeletons in Minecraft could really use a little delayed reaction time, if you ask me. Yes, shoot my enemies for me. Oops. I died. That's okay. They don't just explode from me running into them, right? No, they don't care that I run into them. So I just have to basically be in their pocket to knock them out. Which is not the best. Did we fix bullets? They don't physics anymore. Have you noticed this? I don't remember doing that. I know we changed how bullets behave because we wanted them to be able to hurt the player as well as enemies. But I don't remember making a change that would stop that from happening. I know, I do have source access. It's a great point. I should really just check, shouldn't I? They still have their colliders. And they still have their disintegration stuff after a period of time. They destroy themselves after they've damaged something that has a health system, which is either us or the enemies. I'm just not seeing anything here. It doesn't get to do the time stuff. No, well, no. Oh, wait. Did we do this? I mean, when I say we, I mean like Tom. I see why, yeah. Was this how it was before? Is that something that like we just quickly did and I just absent-mindedly followed along without thinking about it? It does appear to be that way. Yeah, hey Quartz, what's up? I have been learning Unity. I've been following along on a tutorial. Learning how to make games. I mean, I guess having them destroy themselves if they collide with anything is probably the right move. There isn't really a benefit. In fact, it just looks messy having them flooding the floor all over the place. Yes, the bullets on the ground could hurt me, yeah. That's true. Because anytime they entered a collision box that has a health system, they would do damage to that health system. So that's even if they're just lying on the ground. The velocity, the movement really has nothing to do with it. Well, thank you. I followed a tutorial entirely to do everything you see here, so I don't deserve really any credit. This is as much credit as I gave myself. I am the tutorial follower. Indeed, that is true. This is our guy here, Tom Francis. Did we finish this episode? No.
Of course, once I've already picked up the railgun, it's now the closest thing. Nothing can ever get closer to me than the one that's like embedded in my chest. So every time I'm not going to be able to test this. Let's give it. No, sorry, I don't want a new script. I want usable. Let us. We're giving it a usable. Now let's give it a. I think I'm. Should I call the script antique? Yeah, why not? Antique behavior. So a new script for this. It's going to be very simple. For now, it's just going to destroy itself. So. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. Why did I do that? It was taking too long to load, so I got impatient and clicked the button again. So we just want a public void be collected. This is a bit like the be picked up that the weapon behavior has, but it's going to do something different when we do it. And for now, it's just going to destroy our game object. Just want to destroy ourselves. And I can delete all of that. Don't need to do anything. Public void be collected. And the reason I want that now is so that I can hook up the usable to do that. So plus sign. Game object is going to be this one. And the function is going to be, it's on our antique behavior, and it's going to be, actually let me just see, could we have made this, no. We could make it set itself to be inactive. I was just wondering if there's a built-in function to destroy it, but we want custom antique behavior anyway, because eventually this is going to add to our score. So be collected is the function we want to run. So on our current game object, on the antique behavior component, run the be collected.
Just trying to get to where we left off.
And that will just destroy it. So it's right in the middle of the arena right now. Let me make it a prefab, so I'm going to drag it to the project folder first. And then now that it is a prefab, I'll duplicate it, because that's good enough, and all the differences will propagate, will be the same everywhere. Any changes we make will apply to all of them, is what I'm trying to say. Press E, it gets destroyed. Cool, I can now collect treasure. I can pick up guns. All with the same button. So yeah, that'll be, I think once we have a gradiated alarm system, that'll be cool to decide whether you want to take the treasure or whether you're going to take a weapon. Once you've got a good weapon, maybe you're going to focus more on collecting treasure. We'll probably do limited ammo at some point too.
No.
How that feels.
We're about to do plinths.
So that's it for treasure. Let me just, what I might do is just give it a light, because it's a bit hard to see at the moment, isn't it?
He's mere moments away from saying...
You can have a light on it too?
Yep, there it was.
Ooh, that's nice.
I think I'd like to make plinths.
Yeah, sure. Well, no, let's make it yellow, because it's a bit, what's the word? Wan. It's a bit wan, that light. Could even be warmer, couldn't it? Too warm. Looks like a hazard. Yeah, that's quite nice. Well, it's not nice, it's very clear. It's my main priority. Cool. So then the last thing for usables is to make them take out the guard. So let's start by going to the guard behavior, and knocked out is health. It's got to be the prefab. Script field, if this works as expected. Yeah, it blows up. I've zoomed in a bit, which I didn't mean to. Oh, bloody hell. So treasures, in another game you might want them to be picked up automatically, but we're going to have these wired to the alarm system. I like that they blow up. So I was thinking of it as a stealth kill, and so I was thinking maybe we don't want the explosion, but actually the explosion is very satisfying, and it's going to raise the alarm. It's not going to trigger the alarm, so I'm going to, maybe we should say it's going to raise the alert level. So it makes sense that there's some kind of noise, like if it's totally silent, maybe you'd ask, why is this raising the alert level at all? Cool, well that was really fast. We're done on that. Oh yeah, the only thing I wanted to do is, I don't think, take damage 100 is a bad way of doing this, because we don't know how much health they have. And you might say, okay, well 100's outside the realm of possibility, we're working with like 4 or 5 health in most cases, but we might decide to change the scale of health. We might decide that everything's going to have 100 times more health now, because actually we need more finely grained damage so that we can have a weapon system or something, and then this code breaks. And that's fine if we remember that we wrote that, and we think, okay, it broke because it's only 100, but you might forget, and that's the killer with debugging, is you forget you did something a certain way. And every game of significant scope gets to the point where it's impossible to hold all the code in your head. Like, it just can't be done. So so we already have a variable called max health, so we could pass in max health there. I just find that a bit cumbersome because we would have to write, here we go. We can't just write max health in here because like we're writing this as guard behavior. We don't have a max health thing. It's the health system has a max health, so now we're going to do get component again, and we're going to set up a variable to store this get component. It gets just a bit clunky, and really it seems like quite a nice idea to have just a standard public void kill me. I think that's what we'll say. And all that does is take damage, max health. So that ensures we die. It might do more than our current health, we might have less than this. Oh, in fact, yeah, why not? Let's make it current health. Then we always exactly kill ourselves. I can't think of a reason why it would be bad to do too much damage, but who knows? We might do some kind of overkill effect or something. So yeah, let's just have that say kill me. And in fact, that's a good example of why we want its own function for this. Because if I wrote in here, it should do the max health. That line is cumbersome to write, and also once I've written it, I might change my mind about check that still works. It should behave exactly as before. Cool. That's actually very satisfying. Let me also test what is. Oh no, I want to play level 1, please. I won too quickly. Oh yeah, taking out a single guard on level 1 ends the game right now, so that's awkward. Let me just check what the range is on picking things up. Okay, that's quite generous, isn't it? That's 3. Let me reduce it to 2. If we were going to tweak this a lot, then I would want to make this a public variable that we could tweak at runtime, but actually I think
the last thing we did.
Fine. I don't think it's going to be too hard to figure out what the right value is. I think it's going to be 2. So what I kind of want to do now is make the plinth. Let's make the plinth, since I said this game is going to be called, it's going to be named after these plinths. Let us make an empty game object. Put it at 0, 0, 0. I'm actually just going to duplicate it. No, I'm not. That's stupid. I'm going to right-click on it and say create cube, and I hope that goes at 0, 0, 0. It does. I wanted to see it in the scene. Here it is. And in fact, it's looking nice already because I happen to put it at the same place as the antique, and the antique has a light on it, which is telling me that we should have a light on the plinth. So in fact, let's copy. This will be interesting. If I copy the light out of the prefab there and shove it in here, and reset its position, and then move it up like this. That's quite nice. And in fact, let's bring. I'm just going to remove that light from the antique prefab now. Now that we've used it on the plinth, delete it there. And then actually, I'm going to move this antique back. I want it at the same location as this plinth because I'm going to write the word plinth. It's a fun word to say. It's a fun word to write. I want to see what it looks like when something's on the plinth. So plinth is arguably, well, first of all, the cube is actually in the ground right now, isn't it? This is not a half-height cube. This.
Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up to him. I think, yeah, he moved the light up above it.
I wanted to see it in the scene. Here it is. And in fact, it's looking nice already because I happen to put it at the same place as the antique. And the antique has a light on it, which is telling me that we should have a light on the plinth. So in fact, let's copy. This will be interesting. If I copy the light out of the prefab there and shove it in here, and reset its position, and then move it up like this. That's quite nice. And in fact, let's bring. I'm just going to remove that light from the antique prefab now. Now that we've used it on the plinth, delete it there. And then actually, I'm going to move this antique back. I want it at the same location as this plinth because I'm going to write the word plinth. It's a fun word to say. It's a fun word to write. I want to see what it looks like when something's on the plinth. So plinth is arguably, well, first of all, the cube is actually in the ground right now, isn't it? This is not a half-height cube. This is a big cube that's embedded in the ground. Let's think. What I was interested in trying is what does it look like if we rotated it around the x-axis so it's kind of tilted. So it's like a. That would actually work better if it was also longer in the z-axis. This is just the cube we're scaling now, so that might be too long. Let's go for like 1.3. And just tilt that so that it's basically flush with the ground, and maybe also make it a bit wider too. And now, where is the treasure? The treasure is completely embedded in it. So let's also move this. What position do I want? I think it's Z position we want to change. Yes. Okay, this needs a shallower angle if we want to showcase something at that height. Oh my god, that weight moves so fast. Why does it move so fast? How does that look? That's alright. It's a bit weird. Maybe maybe I was wrong to make it deeper. Maybe it should just be. I don't want to drag that out because I don't want to move in that direction. I want to move it in the axis direction, which seems to work better if you do this. Yeah, let's just do that and then maybe sink it a little bit further. Okay, cool. That's a plinth. I'm also going to change its color a bit. I think I'll make a new material for it. Create material. Right click on the project folder there to do that. And I'll call it plinth material. And all it's going to do is just have a different color. Let me assign the material first to the cube. So I'm going to drag the material over to the very bottom of this. And it won't have any effect yet because the plinth material is just the default material. But now as I change, when I click on the plinth material again and I go to change the color of it, we should find that those changes are reflected in real time. Yeah. That's not bad actually. I wasn't going to make it gold because then it makes the gold treasure less special. We could just make it. What color is a plinth? I want it to be a warm color so it contrasts with the background a bit. and we've used enough dark stuff. I think something like that's alright. We're not artists. Well, I'm not. We can leave these things as they are. So I wanted to try that because I'm curious if we move both these things up against the wall, how does that look? If all of our weapons and stuff were up against the wall. Looks quite nice. I'm really wanting to sort of zoom in on this thing all the time. That's not bad. I wasn't going to make it gold because the plinth material is just the default material, but now as I change, when I click on the plinth material again and I go to change the colour of it, we should find that the changes are reflected in real time. Yeah, that's not bad. I wasn't going to make it gold because then it makes the gold treasure less special. We could just make it... What colour is a plinth? I want it to be a warm colour so it contrasts with the background a bit. And we've used enough dark stuff. I think something like that's alright. We're not artists. Well, I'm not. We can leave these things as they are. So I wanted to try that because I'm curious if we move both these things up against the wall, how does that look? If all of our weapons and stuff were up against the wall. Looks quite nice. I'm really wanting to sort of zoom in on this thing all the time. I wonder if we just make the camera a bit closer. Let me just align view to selected, and then it's already pretty tight, isn't it? Let's go a bit tighter. And then this is a real callback now, but we can then say align with view, so that the game view is... Why is it still zoomed out in the game view? I don't know, let's get even closer then. For some reason I've got to make it... Okay, that's better. Yeah, should I make that light a bit stronger on the plinth? It could be... its range could be increased. It's kind of nice. That's very strong. I think it's in slightly the wrong position, isn't it? Let me... Bloody hell, its range is enormous now. I can't remember in what direction was it the wrong... Oh yeah, it wasn't close enough to the wall. Yeah, it's fine. And render mode, important. Okay, so now I want these to make it a prefab. Drag it into the project folder. I'm going to duplicate it, and we'll only bother with level 1 for now. We'll just make these for the weapons, because I'm hoping that the advantage is that this will be make it a bit clearer where things are. And let's duplicate that one. We'll rotate it again to have it against that wall, and the last one can just...
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with him. He just happens to be 1.5 times as faster than your normal person. Whoops. Okay, so he puts a bunch of plinths all around. He wants to put the weapons on plinths, right? That's his problem. Plinth, 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 plinth. Let's go. Good enough? Probably.
On the opposite wall, and we'll put a weapon in one of these. Put weapons in two of them, I guess. So yeah, there's a treasure on one. Let's move a treasure to... I'm continually calling them treasures when actually they're antiques now. That one I'll just delete because we've got two weapons to place as well. The Uzi can go on.
Um, Looking like a proper gun museum, I guess. And where there should be no fighting whatsoever. No fighting in the gun museum. Right? That sounds right.
This plinth. And then the shotgun can go on the last one. Where is it now? This is level 1, so we want it to be easy. It doesn't matter that everything's kind of trivial to get at. Alright, cool.
Okay. Get our antiques. We'll get our guns. Oh, those lights are, they're not priorities. So, watch, they all turn out when explosions happen. Some of them turn out. Yeah. I can fix that, though. Easy. Easy. And there it is. And there it is. Hmm? It's not really the issue. What is the issue? Hmm? Current shading path being forward rendering. Well, seems like something we could easily test. Where do I fuck with it? What is this current shading path? Is that a project setting? Rendering path says forward. Does it? Is it somewhere in this mess? Oh, it does. Say it right there. Use defaults. Use defaults. And so we've got either deferred legacy vertex lit or legacy deferred light pre-pass. Deferred, eh? All right, it's done. It has been done. Oh, you're right. This whole thing just might fall to pieces. Oh, yeah, it's fine now.
I was also going to label them. I don't know if we have time for that. They do look rather similar, don't they? That's cool. I guess actually, there's one more game logic thing to do here, which is that when you use a guard, that should only work if the alarm is not triggered. So we want to do if references dot references dot level manager dot alarm sounded equals false. Then it's
Which, I don't think we need the equals false, really, right? Actually. Right. No. We want the reverse. No, we do want that. I was having issues. I was going back and forth like, no, this logic is... We want... So this is allowing death. But yes, this is how it should be. Sorry.
it's okay to knock us out, but if the alarm sounded, then we're alert, and this shouldn't work on us. We could make it so that it only works from behind, but that's a slightly more complicated bit of logic, and in general, as I said before, I'm thinking of this as once the alarm has gone off, everyone knows where you are all the time. So that is better this way around, I think. And just to be clear, I think maybe we should rename this to, let's call it knockout attempt, because it may not work. If the alarm's gone off, then it doesn't knock you out. And I also just want to check, did that update?
It says fix the get issue.
So a usable script. No, it didn't. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, that's a slight annoyance with the system, is if you rename the function, you've got to set this reference up again.
That's what I would have expected, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that. But that's not too hard to fix. So let me check that's working. So after I fire a gun, I'm going to try and knock him out. Well, first of all, let's check that I can still knock him out normally. Yes, you have to be pretty close, but
Yes,
it works.
I am the Lord.
Go away.
If I shoot and then use him, yeah, nothing happens. Cool. How are we doing for time? Got about 5 minutes. In that case, let me do just the plinth labels. So if we edit our plinth prefab, I can't focus on it because the light is so big. And I want there to be a label here. So if I create a UI canvas, it's going to go kind of nowhere at first because it's canvas default to screen space. But we can make them world space, and that means they're, if a canvas is, well, it's like a canvas. Normally they're attached to the screen, so wherever you look, the canvas is on your view. But you can just put them in the world as well, so it's as if the paper is on the floor or on the wall, and that can let you write things in the world. And I think having labels on the ground would be nice because it's a bit less intrusive than a UI label. If we had annotations on them on the UI level, like we do with health bars, those go on top of everything else, and so these labels would clutter things up. I think it's fine to just have it on the ground, and also it fits with the museum theme.
Nuked, thank you for 86 months.
Where is our canvas? Okay, first thing I'm going to do with this canvas is I'm going to add an image to it, add component image, so that way we can see its full size. It is enormous. It's really enormous. It's unimaginably huge. I'm going to change its width and height to 1. Excuse me, I'm trying to select it now.
Oh, hello. Whoa. Whoa. Give me that 1x1 canvas, baby. Okay, I don't know where it is, and I can't focus on it. Oh, who knows? So weird. Well, I guess it's off in the boondocks, right? Yes. Why are you still so weird? Oh, I guess that's 100 meters by 100 meters. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Oh my goodness. There you are. You're so cute, my little canvas. So pretty canvas. Oh. Blah. Uh-huh. And it? Oh. Hmm? Oh. Oh, Z fighting. I know you. Neat. How cool. I can just bring you right on out here. I don't know about y'all, but that's looking like a label to me. Who needs Tom when you got me? Oh, do I have it pointing down? What if I did this? I mean, that does make sense because now the Z is up. That's what I would expect. The Z to be up. Just get the player in a more sensible location. Let's see what Tom does.
F to zoom in. Its position is in some crazy place. Let's reset that. Still, this is... What the hell am I seeing now?
It's on the plinth. You're seeing a bunch.
Why has it gone back to 100? Didn't I just tell it to be 1? It's kind of weird. Anyway, now it's small enough. So the reason there was loads of them there is because we were seeing the scene that has a load of these in them, in it. I want this to be lying down, so I will rotate it around the x-axis by... looks like minus 90 is the right thing. That now it's in this weird place, so you'll see this sometimes. It's called Z fighting. The reason being, as it happens, in this case it is the Z dimension, at least relative to this canvas. When things are at the exact same height, the game doesn't really know which one to show you, which one is on top, because there is no absolute answer to that. They're both at the exact same height. That never happens in reality. You've probably never seen this in real life, because it's just a thing that only happens when things are at exact coordinates. So we just want this to be slightly higher, just slightly raised up off the ground. And let's make the image black, actually.
I was listening to another tutorial, and someone else came across this in their tutorial, and they explained why. But here's what I'm calling the T factor. All right, you only get this with Tom. Tom is the only one who will tell you you've probably never seen this in real life. that level of clarification and detail, that dedication to the art craft of tutorializing is just unheard of.
I mean, this is all a bit...
That's T Factor,
I guess it's
baby.
fine. I guess it's fine. And I'm going to make it... I don't know, what's happened there? Why did it get bigger again? I mean, why did the height get bigger as well as the width? What is that behind it? Is there two of these? If I move it over here... Why are there two canvases? Are there two plinths? Is it... And now in the real scene, there's only one of each. I think we've got into a weird spot where...
What the
now,
hell?
project settings or preferences. Let me see. Editor. Okay, the prefab editing environment level 1. I'm just going to get rid of this. This is confusing as hell, and it's messing with the lighting as well. So when we're editing a prefab, I just want to see the damn prefab. I don't want to see anything else. Okay, so now we're back to hopefully only having one canvas. I think it was like because, I don't know, we're editing this prefab, and it's putting the real scene in the background, and in the real scene there is an instance of the prefab at the same location as the prefab, and so we're getting two of them, but it wasn't quite the same location? I don't know, it's very strange. Let's have it directly in front of this thing. It's quite big, it's going to have to be quite big because I want it to be readable, and then the thing we're going to put on it is a UI Text Mesh Pro, which is going to be a...
Okay. So we're doing big labels. So let's do big labels. Yeah, I'm not trying to do that, all right? Ah. Ah? Do. I thought I knew how to change the color. But you're looking at a guy that doesn't know how to change the color.
Because it's just a thing that only happens when things are at exact coordinates. So we just want this to be slightly higher, just slightly raised up off the ground. And let's make the image black, actually.
Image script. What? What did I do? Oh. Oh my lord, I didn't have the image expanded. I kept looking here and I'm like, why can't I change the image settings? Don't look at me, don't talk to me. I'm not here. I was never here.
I mean, this is all a bit... I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. I'm going to make it... I don't know, what's happened there? Why did it get bigger again? I mean, why did the height get bigger as well as the width? What is that behind it? Is there two of these? If I move it over here... Why are there two canvases? Are there two plinths? Is it... And now in the real scene, there's only one of each. I think we've got into a weird spot where... now, is it project settings or preferences? Let me see. Editor. Okay, the prefab editing environment level 1. I'm just going to get rid of this. This is confusing as hell, and it's messing with the lighting as well. So when we're editing a prefab, I just want to see the damn prefab. I don't want to see anything else. Okay, so now we're back to hopefully only having one canvas. I think it was like because, I don't know, we're editing this prefab, and it's putting the real scene in the background, and in the real scene there is an instance of the prefab
Oh my
at the same
God,
location
no.
as the prefab, and so we're getting two of them, but they weren't quite the same location. I don't know, it's very strange.
You always
Let's
have to watch
it in
out.
front of this thing.
You never
It's
know when
quite
they're
big,
going to
it's
get you.
have to be quite big because I want it to be readable. And then the thing we're going to put on it is a UI Text Mesh Pro, which is going to be enormous. Let's say this is going to be shotgun. Let's see if we can do it in caps. And to make it less enormous, there's an option called auto size. It won't work yet because by default the auto size minimum is like size 18. I'm going to say 0. Oh, and then also it doesn't know what we want to tell it is just fit within the canvas. Fill the canvas, but fit within it. So I hold Shift and Alt on this anchor thing, and I hit that one, and that means it'll only be as big as the canvas. Okay, an immediate issue with this. What we're actually looking at is the back of the canvas. So the canvas is facing down and not up, as I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Or Okay, slight aside here, you don't really need to know this. Well, it's somewhat useful to know because it might solve a headache one day. But look, the z-axis is pointing forward. Z is normally forward in every other context. In fact, it is forward. Z is forward. But in Unity's world, the default facing of a canvas is away from the positive axis. So in other words, when a canvas is facing forwards, the painting is on the back, which doesn't make any intuitive sense to me, but that's the convention. So we have to work around it. So let's go to the canvas, and I think it's a question of rotating it. Instead of -90, we'll do +90. Oh, and now it's upside down. That's surprising. I didn't encounter this in my test. I mean, we can rotate it 180 here as well. I'm just surprised that that is the case. So this is a label that looks like it will be readable now, but it's aligned a bit weirdly. I want this text to be centered horizontally and centered vertically. And then we could also, that's very interesting, it set some random values here for some reason. Let's set those to 0, but actually let's give it a bit of a border, just like, oh no, all the values are enormous because everything's scaled up so much. I'm just going to give it a margin of 0.1 and 0.1.
What?
On left and right, just to make sure text doesn't go all the way to the edge. And let's make the text bold, why not?
We're not going to grab the text from...
So now let's look in game, and that's weird.
They're all going to say shotgun.
Their canvases are all underneath their plinths, but it's not in our scene, is it? Is it to do with the height? No. Well, that's weird. Our plinth... I mean, its z-coordinate's not 0, but that shouldn't affect this. I don't see why they would have canvases in different spots. Let's go back and actually look at these instances and see if they think they're overriding it or something. It's got an override section. Let's revert all. Yeah, okay, I don't know why that happened. That's interesting. I would like to understand why Unity does that sometimes, where we never changed these instances, did we? We never edited a prefab instance. Certainly we didn't change all of them in the exact same way. But at some point, when we looked at this scene, it sort of decided all of them had a custom canvas position, and then when I went back to prefab editing, they decided they got to override my changes, which is rather annoying, but if we just revert all, it looks right. So we are going to override these instances, just in a custom way, I guess the text is upside down in some cases, which is a little bit tricky, but that's realistic, so we're all good. So let's actually label these things. So shotgun is just the default text. Let's go to this one and label the text Uzi. And then maybe we can select both of the treasure ones at the same time. Yeah, these are both treasure ones. Let me see if I can control select these two. Can I type the same thing in for both of them? Yeah, look at that. That's nice. And then game view, antique, shotgun, Uzi. Cool, that's a locked error. I was never going to be able to communicate what these weapons were with art. Art in heavy inverted commas. Let me wipe these guys out. I wanted to sneak up on him there, but the fact that the swarmers are coming in from that angle, damn it. The Uzi is merciless at close range, and so that's rather awkward because... So I think on this level you'd want, if there's only one guard, the alarm level has to be 1, because when you take him out, the enemy should flood in. You shouldn't be able to just sort of win the level. Or at least, I guess that's not the logic we want. Probably what we want is that the level doesn't end if the spawners haven't spawned yet, because they're going to, if you haven't finished stealing. Apart from anything, you want the chance to steal all the stuff, right? So, yeah, we'll have to change our level progression logic at some point, but I think that is enough for today. Looks like a museum now, which is nice.
He's out.
Hello,
I'm
welcome back.
out.
I am sorry, it's been a
I'm
really long time
signing
since the
off.
last one. That was not intentional. Things, especially things during pandemic. That's all I got for you on that. This episode, we're going to do some alarm stuff. I had to rewatch the last episode to remember what the hell we were doing and why. But we're at quite an exciting stage. We have stuff you can pick up now. So guns, which we already had, but then also these antiques, which are going to be your score. And the idea is that taking these things is going to raise the alert level. And when that hits a certain threshold, that's when the alarm will go off. So there's a bit of give there. And that means that you can have some decisions about what you want to steal. And also taking out guards is going to raise the alert level. So it'll be a kind of trade-off of like, I can make the level easier by taking out some guards, but then I've only got a few things I can grab before the alarm triggers. And so today we're going to do that alarm system. We also have some bugs to fix. Let me just
slug tubes in my
get up my notes.
box.
Yo, Dave, thank you for the raid, dude.
Yeah, so some commenters pointed out some bugs that we should fix, both of which are kind of funny. One is, so because we made it so you can pick up weapons, we didn't exclude the guards' guns, so apparently you can pick those up, but they still keep behaving like the guard's gun. Which, so let's see if I can do it. It sounds tricky because he also
fixed that,
kills
right?
the guard, so I'm not quite sure how you managed to grab the gun instead. I suppose just as long as his weapon is closer to you. No, that didn't work. Oh, did I get it? No. I'm just going to be killed soon. No. Okay. I can't reproduce the bug, but I believe that it's there. Makes sense. It's a real easy fix. So we just need to make sure we're editing the guard prefab, not the instance in the scene. And we're just going to find their weapon, which is this Uzi variant, and that has on it this usable component. We just uncheck it. It shouldn't be usable. If we want something to be usable, we check it. If we don't want it to be usable, we can uncheck it. That's about as easy as that gets. It's not worth writing code that has the weapon detect whether it's being carried or not. Like, these are all spawned from the same prefab. It's a problem we can fix in one place, and it's done. So it's been a while since I did this, so I'm checking things are even still recording. What was the other bug? The other bug was that the swarmers just kind of nudge you now. So basically, the enemies that are supposed to explode on contact no longer explode on contact. That's because the check they're doing is against.
I fixed that already.
Are they just called enemies? I guess they are. Yeah, swarmer behavior. This is the one. I'm going to open this up, and they check if the game object they just collided with is the player. And the player used to be a reference to the player's game object, but we changed it in the last episode to be a reference to their player behavior component. So there's a few. The obvious fix for this actually isn't the best. Because what you can do is check whether the game object we hit matches the player's game object. Unfortunately, if the player's already dead at this point, this will cause a crash, because while you can check if a thing is equal to references to the player, if the player doesn't exist, if you want to access the player's game object, you're actually like calling up the player and saying, hey, tell me about your game object. If the player doesn't exist, that's a crash. So we don't want to do that. We instead, the equivalent version really is to do, let's define a player behavior and call it possible player, and we can just do their game object get component player behavior, and then I think we'll just do that. So if the player behavior component we found in the game object is the player, excuse me, let's get rid of that fix. I didn't mean to put there. Then we'll blow up. So this is a slightly longer-winded version, but I still think it's the right call to have the references to the player, the reference to the player be to its player behavior.
Yes.
There's a lot of things we can do with that we can't do otherwise. And having one get component here is a small price to pay.
Hey,
I also
DK.
kind of think
Thank you for 18 months.
if our game gets bigger one day, we'd probably replace this code anyway, so I don't want to spend too much time making this version of it, absolutely squeaky clean. Let's just check that works though, because that's actually a little bit different to how I did it in the practice. In the practice, I did a thing where just like, if they even have a player behavior, then blow up by all means, which is fine too, but it's just a little bit further from what we really need. Yeah, they blow up. And the next thing to do is, if I'm dead, is there any crash there? No, great. Okay, cool. Our bugs are fixed. So now let's get on to some fun stuff. By fun, I mean UI. So what I want to do is add a score count, so that when we pick up an antique, a score goes up. That's all it's going to do for the moment, and honestly, that's about all you need. That's what a score is, just a number that goes up.
UI stuff. Let's go.
That's going to be on the canvas. Remember, the canvas is where all our UI is painted to. Think of it like a transparent sheet in front of the game world, and you can draw on that sheet. But we don't want to do it on this instance of the canvas. We want to do it. It's a prefab, so we want to open a prefab and do it here. And I'm just going to right-click here and say create a new object, or rather go down to UI, and I'm going to make an image. When you create an image, it's just a square image. It doesn't actually technically have a sprite, but Unity just has this kind of fallback square thing, and that actually is pretty good for our purposes. So I'm going to call it score. I want it to be in the bottom left-hand corner, so I click this anchor thingy and this secret code where you hold down Shift and Alt, and then I want the bottom left corner, so we do it that way. So that moves it to the bottom left corner, but it's also means that when we enter like numbers here, we are there's a relative to the edge of the screen, and that means if someone's got a wildly different size screen, our thing will still be in the corner of their screen, no matter what the shape or size is. Whereas if you leave it anchored to the center and just adjust these values until it looks like it's in the bottom left, you're really running a big risk that it's going to look wrong on different people's computers. And I'm gonna change the color of this. I don't know if we've done this before. You can click the color to set it manually, but actually if you click the little color, what's it called, a pipette to the right, you can choose the color from the scene. And I want it to match the kind of goldy color. Actually, that's perfect. Of the antiques, just to like create that connection in the player's mind that those are the score things. I mean, there's a lot of gold stuff in that game, but that might help. So now I'm right-clicking on this image we just created, and I'm going to say add a TextMesh Pro element or object. That's going to be a child of it. I want it to be a child of it because I want it to fill this box. And so the way we do that is another hold down Shift and Alt, and it's this bottom right one that looks like it's stretchy. And that will stretch to fill. I'm just going to have it say 0 for the moment. And I'm going to have it auto size, so it will fill the box. I'm going to tell it to be centered on both axes. You can also, there's two different ways of saying middle. This one on the right seems to be slightly better to me. We'll also make it bold somewhere. Oh yeah, up here. And I might make it black. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm also going to add, I'll actually just duplicate this, because I'm just going to label it that it's score. So I write the word score in caps. That should look really weird when it eventually appears. I often hit enter to confirm text entry here, and you shouldn't do that because actually this is a multiple line thing, so that just creates a new line which you don't want and it doesn't confirm it. I'm not really sure what the best way is to... okay, yeah, that looks wrong, as I thought it would. I'm going to keep it... So just because this is nested inside the score thing, that doesn't mean it has to be physically inside it, so I'm going to change where it's anchored to. I like that it stretches to match the width, we want that, but I actually want it to be on top of this box, so I'm going to choose this one. Again, I'm holding Shift and Alt. That will eventually put it to the top of the thing, I would have thought. No, oh, I think it's just really big. I think that's why that's not helping. Let me... I'll shrink it. I think we do... Sorry, I'm going to go to the scene view because I want to see... When you're looking at canvas stuff in the scene view, remember you can click 2D here, and then you get a much truer view of it. So yeah, we can see that the bounding box for that was very tall. I just want to be there, and then I'm going to put it above, and its color is going to be the same. I'm trying to click that pipette. Is this? That looks all right to me. Does that stand out right? Yeah. This whole thing... Oh, maybe this would be a good demonstration of why we did it this way. The whole thing's too tall, so I'm going to shrink it. And what I want to see is... Yeah, that's pretty much... I'll do it in scene view so it updates faster. Yeah, that's why it was worth doing all those anchor things, right? Is because now when I change the size of the thing, I don't have to move anything else. This is already... And what I want to see... I'm trying to click that pipette view of it. So yeah, we can see that the bounding box for that was very tall. I'll shrink it. I think we do... Sorry, I'm going to go to the scene view because I want to see... When you're looking at canvas stuff in the scene view, remember you can click 2D here, and then you get a much truer view of it. So yeah, we can see that the bounding box for that was very tall. I just want to...
Oh, cool. Ah. Nice.
There, and then I'm going to put it above, and its color is going to be the same. I'm trying to click that pipette. Is this? That looks all right to me. Does that stand out right? Yeah. This whole thing... Oh, maybe this would be a good demonstration of why we did it this way. The whole thing's too tall, so I'm going to shrink it. And what I want to see is... Yeah, that's pretty much... I'll do it in scene view so it updates faster. Yeah, that's why it was worth doing all those anchor things, right? Is because now when I change the size of the thing, I don't have to move anything else. This is already where we want it relative to the thing. If we made it narrower, the score thing shrinks quickly. It goes a little bit weird at some point, but it's not bad. So yeah, that's fine. Now let's hook it up. So I actually I'm going to name these things correctly. This one is I'll call it a label. Like I said, so I was going to label it correctly, and then I did it badly. And I'm just going to drag it above the other one. It doesn't matter. Unity doesn't care which way around those two things are because they don't overlap. But just mentally it makes sense because it is physically above it.
I missed something about how he did
demonstration why we did it. See the width, we want that. But that looks wrong as I thought it would. I'm going to keep it. So just because this is nested inside the score thing, it doesn't mean it has to be physically inside it. So I'm going to change where it's anchored to. I like that it stretches to match the width. We want that. But I actually want it to be on top of this box. So I'm going to choose this one. Again, I'm holding Shift and Alt. That will eventually put it to the top of the thing, I would have thought. No, oh, I think it's just really big. I think that's why that's not helping.
Now this?
Let me... I'll shrink it. I think we do... Sorry, I'm going to go to the scene view because I want to see...
Yeah,
when you're looking at canvas stuff in the scene view, remember you can click 2D here, and then you get a much truer
Nice.
view of it. So yeah, we can see that the bounding box for that was very tall.
Cool.
I just want to be there, and then I'm going to put it above, and its color is going to be the same. I'm trying to click that pipette. Is this? That's pretty much... I'll do it in scene view so it updates faster. Yeah, that's why it was worth doing all those anchor things, right? Is because now when I change the size of the thing, I don't have to move anything else. This is already where we want it relative to the thing. If we made it narrower, the score thing shrinks quickly. It goes a little bit weird at some point, but it's not bad. So yeah, that's fine. Now let's hook it up. So I actually I'm going to name these things correctly. This one is I'll call it a label. Like I said, I was going to label it correctly, and then I did it badly. And I'm just going to drag it above the other one. It doesn't matter. Unity doesn't care which way around those two things are because they don't overlap. But just mentally it makes sense because it is physically above it. And I just want to be able to look at this list and know that this is the actual, maybe I'll even call it number. And now we want to access this. So when we pick up an antique, we want to go out and find this bit of text and update it. And in fact, we need to store this data as well. Like, what is the score? We could add some code to this thing that's going to track the score, but actually I think it makes sense to make score an attribute to the player. We're going to add a variable to the player. So let's go to player behavior. And we'll give them a new public variable, just called public. It's an integer because it's a whole number, and it's just going to be that. And the only slightly tricky thing is when the player wants to set that text element to reflect his score, I don't want to give the player a reference to this text element here. I don't want the player to have a reference to something on the canvas because I'm not 100% sure whether the canvas is going to carry over to the next level. I think when the player arrives on a new level, it'll be a different instance of the canvas. Or even if that isn't currently the case, that might end up being the case. So we don't want to assume that the player on the canvas will have this bond forged that will survive all trials and tribulations they go through. It's very likely the canvas will be destroyed and recreated at some point, at which point that reference will be broken. So what I want to do, we already have this canvas behavior that sits on the canvas all the time. It already has some hard-coded references to other stuff that's on the canvas. I will give it a hard-coded reference to the text mesh pro. Well, let's just type text mesh, and then that looks tempting. looks like the right thing, but I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to hit Control J, and it's going to come up with some options. And Text Mesh Pro U GUI is the one we want. Couldn't tell you why, but it is. And let's call it score text. And then I'm going to try and get in the habit of when I create a reference like that, immediately go into the inspector and set it, because I'm forever forgetting. Again, I'm going to make sure we're editing the prefab of the canvas because we want this to be universal. And so that score number, I'm going to drag it all the way over.
Here's the thing, Tom.
And I'm going to try and get in the habit of when
I need to know what library it added. It automatically added a library up here for him. Yeah, I have Text Mesh Pro. That's not the problem. I'm using VS Code, and VS Code doesn't know about libraries, some libraries, for whatever reason. The hotkey that Tom said is for Visual Studio.
I create a reference like that, and it's going to come up with some options. And Text Mesh Pro, I will give it
Not
a reference
VS
to
Code.
the Text Mesh Pro. Well, let's just type Text Mesh, and then that looks tempting. That looks like the right thing, but I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to hit Control J, and it's going to come up with some options. And Text Mesh Pro U GUI is the one we want. Couldn't tell you why, but it is. And let's call it score text. And then I'm going to try.
Ah. Thank you. Control dot is the apparent equivalent. No, why have you done this? Yeah, apparently it isn't. Should I do it like that? I don't know about that. Wow, whoops. TM Pro, probably. And then we're good. We have done it.
And get in the habit of when I create a reference like that, immediately go into the inspector and set it, because I'm forever forgetting. Again, I'm going to make sure we're editing the prefab of the canvas because we want this to be universal. And so that score number, I'm going to drag it all the way over to here to the score text field I just created. So now canvas behavior knows about this, has access to that, and we already have a global reference to canvas behavior, so that means player can tell it its score. I guess we'll, no, it's okay. When we define an integer without saying what it is, I think it will just start as 0, because an integer has to be something. Certain kinds of variables can be null, and certain kinds can't. An integer is one that can't be. Don't know how to make that logical. It would be a long-winded explanation, and I won't pretend that all of this completely makes sense to me. What we want is, I think we want a public function that anyone can tell the player to increase their score. Increase score. And, sorry, no, we need to specify void, which means it doesn't return anything. I'm going to assume it's been a while for you as well, and recap some of these things. We could just do that, and anytime someone calls increase score, it increases score by 1, but it seems likely we might need to specify how much we want to increase the score by, so we'll ask for an amount. So by putting int amount in brackets, we're saying, when you call this, I want an integer from you, you've got to tell me how much you want to increase the score by. And when that happens, something I can't remember, I just wanted to check whether we use, I can just search for it, whether we use that shorthand. Yes, we do, all the time, great. Yeah, it'll be the score increased by amount. But the reason I wanted a function for this, rather than just having other people modify the player's score directly, is every time we change the score, I also want references, canvas, score text, dot text, So score text is a reference to the text mesh pro component on a game object. So it isn't a string, that isn't a word in itself. It's a component with all these aspects like color and size and font and everything. And we want the text bit. We want to actually set what text is in there. And we're just going to set it to score. And with a lot of variables, you can just do that. You can just say like text equals the variable, and it'll turn that variable into text. But integers, you have to do dot to string. String just means words, text. I think the reason it needs that is something to do with like integers. There's different ways to turn them into text. Like 1 could be literally just the number 1, or it could be 1.0, or stuff like that. So for whatever reason, we have to say to string there. So that ought to work, but we need something that will do it, and we want it to be on antiques. I realise we're doing quite a lot of coding without testing anything, which always makes me slightly anxious. Let's say before we, so this is our antique behavior, and the only thing it can do is be collected. That's what we want. We will tell the player to increase score. And it wants a number, we'll go with 1. So this is nice because later we could rebalance the game, and like maybe some antiques are worth 3, and we can just pass in a different number there. But I think all of that should be ready to go. The fact that I set 0 there is actually important. If you put a different number in there, that it will actually stay there in the game, because right now we don't set that on startup, we only set it when we steal an antique. And it goes up! Hey! A number goes up in our game. I should go avoid that guy. Oh, he's going away anyway. I got a score of 2, the best possible score. Wow. Awesome. And that is score. I don't actually know... Should I try completing this level and just see if the score carries over? I don't really care at this point, because the way we get from one level to another is... oh, you know what? When I did a test of this, I didn't test what it's like if I talk over an Uzi rattling around. Okay, our score gets reset each level at the moment. So we don't need to fix that yet, because I think one of the next things we're going to do is a random level generator, and when we come to do that, we'll decide how much of the level carries over, like how many of our things like canvas and level manager and I don't know, other things that are going to be in every level. There's 2 ways to do that. Either you can have them persist and they don't get changed, or you can let them all die with a scene and then recreate them in a new scene. I don't know which we're going to do yet. It will depend a bit on how we generate levels and stuff. So the next thing I want to do is the alarm system. So the alarm system, as I said, is we've got to be careful with terminology here, because I don't want to say alarm levels. I want to say alert levels. And when the alerts are full, then the alarm is set. So alarm is the big important thing. Alerts are at the smaller levels. And I want like a visual bar on the interface to show it going up and where it is. So that's going to be a canvas thing again. Open the prefab again. And I want to be a bar up the left-hand side. I think I'm going to just create another... I'll just create an empty object, and I'm not going to give this a sprite. It's going to contain a bunch of other things that have sprites in it. In fact, let me do it now. I'll just create an image. I'm going to call this an alert pip, and I'm going to duplicate it a couple of times. And now this game object, I want it to be on the right-hand side. I think I want it just above the score, so I'm going to say holding Shift and Alt, and I'm going to say bottom left corner, and then we will just move it. I'm going to switch to scene view so that I can kind of get a better handle on it. What I'm doing now is kind of all a bit abstract. Oh, in fact, I'm changing its height, which I didn't mean to do at all, but it doesn't matter what its height is at the moment. I'm setting this all up in a way that isn't really working, because I want to show you how to make it work. I want all of these things to be one above the other, so I'm real bad at selecting which thing I want to adjust at the moment. We could do that this way, where I manually adjust each one, and it's kind of a nightmare. I'm trying to move them far enough apart that you can even see that they're separate objects, but they're actually huge. My point I'm getting towards is that this is a pain in the ass, and there's a bigger problem, which is when we go to a new level, like how many alert levels you can have is going to vary per game level. So some levels will have very sensitive alarms, some levels will let you steal lots of stuff before the alarm goes off, and how is that all going to be laid out? Wouldn't it be great if there was some... Wait, have I already done this? Yeah, I've already done this. I'm so much lead in to a thing I've already taught you, which is the vertical layout group. So let's just add one of those. It's a thing that lays things out in a vertical column and saves you from manually adjusting it. God, it barely changed, did it? I think it's all there now. So I don't actually want these alert pips to be big squares, although it doesn't look bad, actually. First thing I want to do is move this in a bit. I think, didn't we do 20 for the other one? And these vertical layout groups have a bunch of options that most of which are not really welcome. I don't want it to expand their height, width maybe. I want them to be in the lower center, I want them to be at the bottom, and they've all merged into one because we don't have spacing, so we'll increase spacing, and so it'll be something like that, but it's also, we could control their width, I suppose. Yeah, that works, okay. That's roughly the kind of thing we're going to do, but I'm going to change these alarm pips, and I don't like that there's 3 copies of them, and when I change one, it's not going to change the others, so I'm going to make it into prefab, just by dragging it into the project folder. and actually delete these two. And nice thing about vertical layout group is I can just duplicate these and they'll pop up in the right place. Let's open the prefab, and rather than just being a
Okay, I'm well behind, but that's, you know, it's life. Hmm. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. Right. And then, hey, there we go. Cool. Nice. Excellent.
square. I actually made some sprites for this time, actually. That's roughly the kind of thing we're going to do, but I'm going to change these alarm pips, and I don't like that there's 3 copies of them, and when I change one, it's not going to change the others, so I'm going to make it into a prefab, just by dragging it into the project folder. And actually delete these two, and nice thing about vertical layout group is I can just duplicate these and they'll pop up in the right place.
Honestly, Unity has some really
let's open the prefab,
interesting
and
tools
rather than
for
just
UI
being
stuff. I
a
really like
square,
the alignment
I
stuff
actually made
and
some
the
sprites for
auto
this, I'm just gonna
scaling
import.
stuff.
So you can make your
Very-
own, or you
very
can.
good.
I'll include these with the project file that I upload with this episode. So alarm empty, and alarm circle. Let's import all of these and I'll delete the ones that aren't right. So I'm just dragging them straight from Explorer into our project folder. And I only see 2. Why?
Oh. The whole thing I just described as being replaced? The thing I described as being pretty dang good is pretty dang bad? And going in the trash? Okay.
Was that? They're all called. Oh no, so full circle and empty circle is the 2 that, and they're completely white. So yeah, these are the ones I don't want. So ignore those. Sorry. I'll only include the correct ones in the upload. Obviously, it's this alarm circle and alarm circle filled. They look like squares. They're actually not. I've selected them both, and then I'm going to go to texture type, sprite 2D and UI.
Is there new news about S and Box? I know it's called Sandbox, don't correct me. What's the new news? Am I getting into game dev at just the right time to ride the Gary's Mod 2 wave into the sunset? Is that what's happening here?
And then click apply down here. And now we'll see their true shape. But I guess the default import type doesn't support transparency, so that gets lost. We have to set them to that type anyway to be able to use them, which we will now do. So alert pip under image, it's got a thing called source image, and we're going to click the little target there and choose alarm empty. I can't see this at all. I don't know if that's important. I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to go back to this view, and now they're circles at least. I do actually want to change.
Those look like
you can see they
ellipses
got
to
slightly
me.
squished. I'm going to say preserve aspect, and because I'm editing an instance here, I could go into the prefab and do that, but just to save time, it's gone bold because it's an override now. It's something I've done to this instance alone. And if I right click on that and I say apply to prefab, that will apply to all of them. So that's looking all right. How's it looking game? Are they huge? Yeah, they're huge. Let's maybe I'm not going to control their size, and that way I can open the prefab. I can look at the game view. Oh, they've completely vanished now. So their width was 0, which wasn't helping. I want to see this in scene view now because okay, why aren't they showing the game view at all?
All right. I've got to make something like those real quick. Ooh, an overview video. Oh my God. I'm ready.
The follow-up to Gary's mod is something that has been in the public's
Oh,
mind
this is
since
just
late
somebody's-
2015,
Okay, yeah,
when
it's a
the
news
creator,
video.
Gary Newman, and
Oh, that's
also
him.
the founder of
I know
Face
that
Punch
face.
Studios, mentioned the idea
is
in
loud.
an
I'm gonna
interview
turn
with
it down.
Eurogamer. Since
Oh my
then,
God, it's 11
there's
minutes long.
been little mention of the project and only a few core principles understood. Newman wanted to take advantage of the technologies that Valve had virtual reality functionality from want it to be called
Oh, wow.
Mod 2, though. What followed were compromises and stopgaps to fill the time before Source 2 became available, both privately and publicly, including a version built off of Epic's Unreal Engine. Given access to the source was underway. Accounts of the production process within the first year were discussed on the official Sandbox blog, information of which has been discussed at length on this channel and a few others, such as Craze. Throughout the dev blogs, Gary and Face Punch's staff mentioned the possibility of a third-party developer build being released out to budding Source 2 artists. The possible date, however, seemed to get pushed back quite frequently, until the release occurred with little fanfare. The first early access build to Sandbox
This shit's
running
out?
Source 2 has been released to select developers, and I have secured access. I've spent the last week exploring the tools, playing a few
I
features
have
public,
secured
and digging through
access.
the files.
Me.
So let's discuss the findings
This guy.
along with what players can expect from Sandbox. Mobile shooters of 2020 with over 7
Hello? Shut.
idea of receiving the necessary resources from Source 2 seemed unlikely at best. The public development of Sandbox on UE4 is evidence enough of the lack of confidence in Source 2 being publicly available. When Newman did software,
Yeah, this is a lot of
it's
same
unknown
info over and
if this
over.
individual more active at this task. The previous person would reportedly answer emails maybe once a month, and if a team sent this person a series of questions, only a single answer to a single question would be sent back. It seems the person who took over the job realized Gary was requesting access and delivered. The dates of the previous licensee departure story. And by the way, if you have a license and you have not heard anything back from Valve for about a year, check your contact email, it may have changed. Now, for those lacking interest in the core loop of Gary's mod, the significance of these events may seem lost on you. Sandbox does represent more than a new game creation platform. It also brings nearly the full Source 2 toolset to the public. With the reveal of Half-Life Alyx, Valve promised mapping tools to the results felt underwhelming, and the support tools have been officially is unorganized,
Wait, they've been
and the
officially
process of
what?
creating third of Valve's total tools have been officially given out to the community, and the process of creating, publishing, and sharing user-generated content is unorganized, performs poorly, and is the subject to a large number of bugs. Valve did have a third-party writer publish a blog post outlining some of, in their opinion, the best content on the work up to the standards hinted at in update leaks. This is where Sandbox can deliver. In mid-April, Facepunch started distributing Steam keys to an in-development build of Sandbox to prominent Source 2 community developers, Gary's Mod developers, and a few influencers.
I wish I was one of those.
Started seeing screenshots and videos of what appeared to be a new
But I'm
generation
nothing.
of Gary's Mod and started requesting keys in masse. I have access to the build, which updates multiple times an hour. I also have access to the developer-only Discord and can ask Gary questions when need be.
God,
So,
this
the
feels
set of
like bragging
tools
more than
and
anything.
has months, if not years left before it could be at the level of something like Gary's Mod 14. I was given access to the game by
Holy
creators,
Lord, dude.
fun offering
Cool for
to
you.
help out. The draw of Sandbox at writing is the creation tools it delivers, and for creators, it delivers
Oh, wow.
far more than expected. The version of Source 2 seen here is representative of the tools used to create Half-Life Alyx in its
Dancing
entirety,
guy.
with the engineers at Facepunch cleaning them up and bringing new quality of life features to streamline the entire creation process. 2 executables
That gong
are
was
seen
him,
in
not
the
me.
root directory of Sandbox. One starts the game, and the other launches a robust version of the Source 2 toolset. To
Oh,
compare,
weird. Is that
this
because you have
the set
access?
of tools given out in the Half-Life Alyx workshop build, and this is what's available with Sandbox. However, according to Gary Newman, quote, although these tools are all available right now, they might go away since some of them are too low level to be useful to end users in our system, end quote. Requesting further comment from Newman resulted in the SND editor being singled out as an example for removal. However, things like the SND editors, FacePoser 2, vMix tools, and many more are some of the standouts. And although some of these tools include a text editor and a specialized Sandbox developer console, this toolset, mixed with direct code integration in C#, allows for almost full game development in Source 2 outside of Valve for the first time. Further updates to the toolset
I've got a lot to
planned,
learn.
including all of Valve's VR code being exposed to developers in future builds, allowing for VR development on this platform to move forward. According to Newman in the Sandbox developer Discord, quote, I think in all likelihood we're going to have game modes that specialize in VR. There's no way we can expect stuff to just work for VR, so what I envision is people tag their game modes on how they can be played. Mouse and keyboard, gamepad, VR, it all should be totally possible to have game modes that have people using mouse and keyboards and people using VR in the same time. I think that's where it can get interesting, end quote. The game, however, is very bare bones and lacking in most content. Only a handful of game modes are
Death
live.
Run,
However,
Prop Hunt, of
those
course.
are in very bare
Hidden.
states, with only a few test maps to allow for basic gameplay.
Ah,
As
this is the
previously
beginning,
stated,
though.
This is not
This
a
is
game
like
ready
the
to be
early
played.
days.
This is a plethora of tools to allow creators to publish work, at least within the confines of Facepunch and Sandbox's own ecosystems. Gary has cleaned almost everything
No.
before giving it out, specifically informing me that he needed to, quote, de-citadel the files.
I don't know
before I
if
could
the developer of
That said,
TTT has
references to
said
HLX
anything about
were
whether or not they
initially
want
left in
to
the build.
make an
HLX,
updated
for those
version.
unaware, appears to be a new VR project based on the foundation built by Pinkerton, the co-writers of Half-Life Alyx.
For pitching. Jay and I
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
HLX, before making anything public, Gary stated, quote, haha, I don't think it's such a big deal. HLX is just Source 2's first person, but thanks for hitting me up, end quote. If HLX is Source 2's first person system, it would make the findings of the CVAR startup files for a separate HLX project confusing, as they are exact copies of Half-Life Alyx's, updated to include a few new console commands and such. HLX is a VR project, and it appears to be building off
That
of the
is how I'm
foundation
like
of Half-Life
Funkster.
Alyx, at least according
I'm
to
like that,
all
exactly.
sources of information available at
But
the
I'm-
time of
I'm
writing.
way behind.
Wrapping up, Valve is known to be working on many things.
I mean,
while at home.
most of the people
Updates
that are
to
gonna be
CS:GO
fucking with this
and
are people
Dota 2.
who
At least 2 new games being
built
Citadel
crazy
and
shit
HLX,
going all the way
along with
back to,
whatever
like,
Ice Frog has
Quake,
been
you
up to
know?
lately. Daily maintenance on Steam and
There's such a
CVR, as well as
like,
third-party outreach
a
for
long
much-needed
history
patches
to all
for
this stuff.
Portal 2, Left 4 Dead 2, and Team Fortress 2. What Valve doesn't appear to be
I'm not
working
even
on
I'm
is
barely a
tools.
fetus.
Initially announced at the Game Developers Conference 2015, Valve has promised the full Source 2 SDK to be out to developers free of
Yeah,
charge. 6 years
exactly.
later, and it's taking a third party to get the bulk of these tools out to the public, and even then, it's not going to be enough to rival popular engines of the day. What we are seeing is the result of over a decade of research and development at Valve Software. FacePoser 2, for example, is so old that parts of it predate Source Filmmaker entirely. Valve took their time getting anything out and didn't follow through on their promises. Now, Facepunch needs support from creators in order to pick up the pieces and release something of value using all of this hard work. This is Tyler McVicker, signing off. Adios.
Okay. I mean, weird take. Whatever. I feel like it's just something that, like, Valve's priorities changed. Feels weird to me to be all like, well, they didn't deliver on their promise. Blah, 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 blah. Like, when they did Source 2, they also released a game originally. Like, I guess it was Source 1.5 or whatever, but they did Half-Life 2. And that still had the same sort of mentality as when they released Half-Life 1, you know, the hammer editor, mods. That was part of the whole, like, the way that they made games at that time. And then they supported that for a long, long time. And then there was this sort of period of, like, everything about how they did things changed. They kind of moved to, like, a games as a service sort of approach, you know, Dota to Counter-Strike Go, whatever, and also Steam. And the only really big main game release that they've done in the past many years has been Half-Life Alyx. And it didn't really have that same mentality of, you know, making it moddable and providing all the tools and everything along with it, yada, 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 that they had back with Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1. So, I don't know. It's whatever. I'm very interested in Gary's mod 2, of course. And I think that Gary, with everything that he and his company have done, I think that they could have the power to make things happen with this. You know, they've got the clout and the experience and the know-how. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm obviously very excited. I just wish that I knew more so I could do more with it right out of the gate, or be on that train right now. But, you know, I've got a lot to learn. I'm not even I'm not a significant influencer to be on the train in that, from that angle. So, is what it is. I'm sure there'll be more keys given out soon enough throughout the year, something like that.
That's lovely,
Oh,
isn't it?
right. I need to make these things. I need to have my own. I could download his, but I'm just gonna make my own because it's not that hard. Let's do. I don't know. We'll do that. As far as I know, there isn't a demo on PC. Is there? For Resident Evil Village? I don't know why my Photoshop does this. I have to tab away and tab back to make it draw the screen the first time I open a new doc. Like every time, and I don't know why. Let's do. Oopsies. Sorry. Good enough, probably. Where did I put the other? Did I have an images folder? Didn't we use an image somewhere? Maybe we didn't. Oh, particles. Well, these aren't particles. I'll make a new folder. Oh. And how did we do that? How did he do that?
And choose alarm empty. I can't see this. The correct ones in the upload, obviously. It's this alarm circle and alarm circle filled. They look like squares. They're actually not. I've selected them both, and then I'm going to go to texture type, sprite 2D and UI, and then click apply down here. And now we'll see their true shape. But I guess the default import type doesn't support transparency, so that gets lost. We have to set them to that type anyway to be able to use them, which we will now do. So alert pip under image, it's got a thing called source image, and we're going to click the little target there and choose alarm empty. I can't see this at all. I don't know if that's important. I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to go back to this view, and now they're circles at least. I do actually want to change. I would like. You can see they got slightly squished. I'm going to say preserve aspect, and because I'm editing an instance here, I could go into the prefab and do that, but just get there and choose alarm. Type doesn't support transparency, so that gets lost. We have to set them to that type anyway to be able to use them, which we will now do. So alert pip under image, it's got a thing called source image, and we're going to click the little target there and choose alarm empty. I can't see this at all. I don't know if that's important. I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to go back to this view, and now they're circles at least. I do actually want to change. I would like. You can see they got slightly squished. I'm going to say preserve aspect, and because I'm editing an instance here, I could go into the prefab and do that, but just to save time, it's gone bold because it's an override now. It's something I've done to this instance alone. And if I right click on that and I say apply to prefab, that would apply to all of them. So that's looking all right. How's it looking game? Are they huge? Yeah, they're huge. Let's maybe I'm not going to control their size, and that way I can open the prefab. I can look at the game view. Oh, they've completely vanished now. So their width was 0, which wasn't helping. I want to see this in scene view now because okay, why aren't they showing the game view at all? That's a little bit weird, isn't it? What happens, let me just check that this is, I'm going to uncheck force expand there, just have it not interfere with them at all. If I just manually size one of these, that works. If I were to, I think it's actually just that changes to these things don't actually get copied to the instances. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to delete the copies that aren't updated and then just duplicate. Because we're not going to be, we're creating these just to get a sense of how it looks. Oh my god, why is there only 2 in this view now? What? I think that's just it not refreshing or something. Okay, it doesn't matter, because we are going to be creating these when the game is running. These are just a guide. And so I do want to just show what will happen when one of them is full. So instead of the alarm empty sprite, we'll give it the alarm full sprite, and we're going to have to go to scene view because we can't see anything there. So yeah, that's what they'll look like full, and then they'll fill up the bar. I actually want to fill up from the bottom, which we will deal with later, but all of this is just to kind of lay it out. So this thing, I'm going to call it the alarm panel. And it's going to need some behavior to do all this. So I'm going to add component, and I'm just going to call it alarm panel, I guess. Oh no, what about alarm manager? because it is going to actually handle the alarm, the alert level and everything. So I'll create that and edit it, and I think I'll just get rid of all this, and we'll give it an awake. I've written the word awake, and now I'm going to, oh, can I just press enter? Yeah, great. That'll do all the boring stuff for me, and I want references to have references then. So under references, we'll do a public static alarm manager, call it alarm manager, and save, and then back here we'll say references.
I always forget that for the known ones, I
alarm
can just
manager
type them out.
equals this. Now, the way I want it to work is that it's going to have a prefab, so public, yeah, great, and save, and then boring stuff for me, and I want references to have references then. So under references, we'll do a public static alarm manager, call it alarm manager. And save, and then back here we'll say references dot alarm manager equals this. Now, the way I want it to work is that it's going to have a prefab, so public game object alert pip prefab. So it has a master copy of what an alert pip looks like, and then when we tell it how many alarm levels we need, or alert levels we need, it will create that many of them. And so let's create a public function for that. Public void setup level, and we will want to be supplied with an integer telling us how many alert levels we need. So max alert levels, and some braces. And so now we are going to do something like, for each alert level, create a pip and store them in a list we can access later. So if we want a list, we better create one up here. Public, I'm actually going to make it could be a list of game objects, but I think it's slightly easier if we make it a list of images. So if I do list, pointy brackets, image, it's actually going to not know what image is, so I'm going to hit Alt-Enter, and the one we want is unityengine.ui. It's a UI element, and that's a thing that needed to be imported. And I'll just call it alert pips. And when you create a list, remember you've got to, it's sort of like asking for a notepad, you've got to actually kind of create the notepad. It can't just be empty. So we just say new list of images, like that. So that creates a blank list, and then we'll be able to add to it as we go. So I said for each alert level, we're going to do this as a one of these four I equals 0, I less than max alert levels, I plus plus. So we've done these before. List. It's actually going to not know what image is, so I'm going to hit Alt-Enter, and the one we want is unityengine.ui. It's a UI element, and that's a thing that needed to be imported. And I'll just call it alert pips. And when you create a list, remember you've got to, it's sort of like asking for a notepad, you've got to actually kind of create the notepad. It can't just be so I said for each alert level, we're going to do this as a one of these four I equals 0, I less than max alert levels, I plus plus. So we've done these before, haven't we? Let me just prove that we've done it before. I hope we have. Only once. Okay, so I better recap it. We did a nice little explainer back when we did it. So this nasty, it's a, I don't know, I find it to be a bit of a ugly thing because it's really 3 lines of code in one, and they're all out of context. They don't, their significance is completely determined by where they are on the list. So this one said, this is the thing.
Okay.
That's why
it's all right.
And each time you do all of this. So let me just check that's what I said before. Declare a variable to keep track of how many iterations we've done. Set a limit for how high this variable can go. Run this after each time we iterate. Increase the iteration count. That's why it's I, for how many times you're going to iterate through this. And so for each one of these, we want to do something like game object new pip.
Can I? Ah. Ahaha. Ah. It pays to look at things. There's so much stuff that my eyes just glaze over at and don't even look at. There's probably so many things that I could know how to do that would make my life so much easier. And my eyes just glide right over them like they're not there.
Equals instantiate. So we're going to make a new one and store a reference to it. We're going to instantiate it from that prefab that we just talked about. And we could just do that, but actually we specifically want it to be a child of us. Like we want it to be nested beneath us. If you remember, that's how we had it set up in this wonderful thing that doesn't appear in game correctly for whatever reason. These alert pips have to be children of the alarm panel. The alarm panel is where the alarm manager lives. When we create it, we want them to be our children, and the way you do that is just to pass in your transform as the second argument. So your transform is, I think you know what it is. And yeah, this thing tells it, this is what I want your parent to be. And I want your parent to be at my transform. You will be my child. So we've created a new game object, but like I say, our list is going to be of images. So alert pips dot add new pip, but not just the game object. We actually want its image component. So we'll do get component image and add the image to the list. Is that it? That's more or less it for now. Shall we just I'd like to test this before we go too far because it'll take a little while to do all of this. So let's just do when we are created, we will set up the level with 3 of these things. And we need a bit more than this before it'll be a working element, but this will at least show us it working, show us it displaying, creating these things, test what we've done so far. I could delete these. I am just going to disable them, at least show us when we are created, we will set up the level with 3 of these things. And we need a bit more than this before it'll be a working element, but this will at least show us it working,
I am the Lord.
show us it displaying, creating these things.
Zarcius, thank you for 29 months.
I could delete these. I am just going to disable them, set them inactive here. They shouldn't get in the way. I don't think they'll do anything. But now that we've got the alarm manager script, I want to give it a reference to the alert pip prefab. I just realized I created a timer here and I didn't actually set it. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes from now. This is 45 hours. That would be too long for an episode, I think. Okay, I have no idea how far in we are. But I do know what I want to get done, and it should all be doable in a reasonable time frame. Yes, I'm giving alarm manager a reference to the alert pip prefab, which is this one. Yeah. So on startup, it's going to set up level 3, and that means it's going to set up a level with 3 potential alert levels. And
is it Tom? Oh, it is. It did. Excellent.
And that means it's going to go through a loop 3 times, creating them and adding them to a list. The fact that they're in a list is going to be, we're not using that list yet, but we should see them get created at least. So let's just try running it. Yay, 3 pips. That was easy. Cool. So the next thing I want to do is we want this to reflect the alert level. So we actually need an alert level for one thing. So a public integer for alert level, and a public integer for max alert level. And now, when we're told to set up a level with a max alert level, we should actually set that here. Oh, I've used almost the same word here, so that's not good. Let's just call it desired max alert level. That's a pretty unambiguous thing. And it actually doesn't matter which of the 2 variables we use here, because they're the same. And yeah, that will create the list. Then I wanted to show what the current alert level is. So I'm probably just going to cheat and set an alert level so that we'll see it working, but the bit of code that will make it visually work, we're going to need to set those images. That's why I wanted a list of images, because I want to change what sprite they use. So we also need a reference to those sprites. We need a reference to the sprite for a empty pip and a public sprite filled pip. And then where shall this code go? I think we'll just do we'll have a void update pips. And what that's going to do is go through our list. I think I will say for int I equals 0, I less than. In this case, it's not going to be max alert level, it's going to be how many pips do we have, which is alert pips, the list, dot count, how many of them are there. And then I plus plus, just like before. And inside this loop, for each one of those, I want to say if, let's see, if I is less than the alert level, then alert pips, this current pip, which is alert pips square brackets I, your sprite should be the empty pip. Is that right? No, it should be the filled pip. If you're so like, let's say the alarm level is 2, and we are pip number 2, then we should be filled. The actual numbers are a little bit tricky because the 0th element number 0 in a list is the first one, and when the alert level is 0, you want none of them to be filled, right? So yeah, if the alert level is currently 0, then none of them should be filled, and that'll work because this only happens if I is less than the alert level. With the alert level 0, I can't be less than that, can I? Because it starts at 0. And so if that isn't true, we will do the exact same thing, but with an empty pip. Yes. Yeah, so there's one problem I already know about that I expect we'll see. For now, I just want to see this working, so I'm going to say we'll just hard code it. Yes. Yeah, so there's one problem I already know about that I expect we'll see.
Nice. Thank you.
For now, I
That's
just want to see this
awesome
working,
to
so I'm going
hear.
to say we'll just hard code it. Let's try a longer alarm thing. We'll say we can have 5 pips, and right after we create them, I'm going to just manually set the alert level. Everything starts with the word alert. Come on. Equals 3, and then I'll say update pips. So that's a sort of simulation of what we'll be doing at runtime. Is like someone will set the alert level, then we'll want to update the pips to reflect that. I just want to see them reflecting anything at all at the moment. And we've created these 2 holes for slots for the sprites. Let's drag those in there, just in case it. Isn't immediately intuitive. The difference between an image and a sprite. Those words, we might use them interchangeably normally, but the image is a component. It's a
Mm. What a special boy. What a special boy I am.
a component on a game
My
object.
pips.
It is not a series of pixels on your hard drive. It's not a thing that you could open in Photoshop. Image is the name for the component, and the sprite is the actual image that's a bunch of pixels. It's called source image here, but when you refer to it in code, you call it sprite. I guess they're trying to sort of give it a friendly name, although I think it adds to the confusion. And it's a lot like the situation we had with text, where the reference we had to this text element, or this text element rather, that reference is not a word. It's the whole component, and then we have to access a property of that to get at the actual texty bit. Let's see if that worked at all. Hey, it did. Okay, that's the problem I anticipated. It's upside down, kind of. I think intuitively we wanted to fill from the bottom, don't we? Like when it's partly full, which would be the lower ones that are filled. There's a surprisingly simple solution to this. One way we could do is have this loop go in reverse and fill the later ones in first. That hurts my brain. I would much rather do it the simple way, which is right after we create this list. Here's where we create the list of the loop. We just do alert pips dot reverse. Let's just reverse the list after we created it.
As you wish, my liege.
So the way we create it, puts them in an order where the lowest number is at the top, and we want to go around. We want to just, after we've done that, flip it. Let me just show that works. Yeah, cool. All right.
Spacing on his isn't all fucked up because he sort of kind of limited the width. He went through I want to say, I would describe it as an existential crisis about this UI element for a second. Take a look here. This is doing a whole lot of nothing on the fly, huh? It's weird. Yeah, I did. Why isn't this? I'm modifying the prefab. I see. Okay. Oh, wow, that took as well. You know, that's good to know. Oh, once we hit the top, then it starts to. These children, they're just very big. All right, it's first in the list. So can I can we do 40 by 40? And just see how that is. Hmm. Yeah, his is taller. And I can also do that. Make it nice and roomy. The thing is, trying to change the size of the children. And I don't know why. Oh. It's interesting that changing the prefab of the pip doesn't change these, which are references to the prefab. Oh, because it considers them set. How weird. Why does it consider them set? Did I set them? Maybe the vertical thing setting them counts as setting them? Well, now they're super small. But maybe that's fine, you know? I don't know. Let's take a look. Ooh, it's cute. Look how cute they are. You're so cute. Aw. Bow. Game over. Bitch. Oh no. Tom. Tom. Tom made a grave error. Horrible mistake. Well, now it didn't. It didn't add more, or they're hidden, or it did, and they're hidden. Or I don't know. Oh, I think I do know. I know. I know what's happening here. So in this is all in the canvas prefab. On level 1, the test pips are disabled, but on the other 2 levels, they're actually going to be there, so they're getting added to the total. That's why we're seeing 3 plus 5. That's what's happening. It just makes sense. At the end of the day, it just makes sense. Did they change? They did. Okay. Cool. Sick. All right. I could probably delete the example ones now. Right? From the prefab. Maybe. It should still work fine. Yeah. Yeah, it's good now. Now it is good. That looks alright, you know? That's not bad for throwing some fucking trash we found on the floor together. And yep, that fixed the issue. Toy! It's toy! Oh shit! Oh, I got blown up.
So let's get rid of this code because that's, well, let's create a new public void raise alert level. And again, we could, I think I'm just going to not give this one an argument. We could do it like int increase amount, but it's always going to be 1. Just that is the, my idea for this is just everything that can raise the alert level only ever raises at 1. I intentionally want it to be that way so that the player doesn't have to know any extra information about how the consequences of their actions. It should be simple. So all that's going to do is alert level ++, and it will immediately afterwards update the pips, because that's the important part. So that's the thing we can do now. And we already established a reference to this, so let's pick a really easy thing, like actually the antiques, because since we already worked on those and they don't have a lot else going on, as well as increasing the score, let's do references, alarm manager, raise alert level. Oh, is that true? I thought we did create that. Oh, we just didn't save. Yeah, that's all.
You've also still got the code in there that's setting it
I don't know
at
if
the
it's my
start.
imagination, but it feels like Unity's been way faster at
But I guess it'll
like,
still work.
compiling, reacting to things. Oh, why is the 3 still filled? Didn't we get rid of that? Oh, no, we didn't, sorry. Yeah, I remember now. I was going to delete it all, then I thought we should keep it around because we're about to create something that looks very similar, but yeah, there's no actual reason to do that. I don't think we need to run update pips here, so I won't. Wait, did I save that time? Yes. Okay, that's more like it. And when I steal an antique, the alert level goes up. Hey! I want it to go up when I steal a shotgun as well, and when I steal anything. And I also want it to go up when I take out a guard. So...
Nice. So that really needs like an animation to really polish it off, but it's cool. It's cool. Works.
might as well just do all that now since we're thinking about it. Don't want to go into that level.
Yeah, fuck it.
So this whole raise
Fuck
alert
it,
level
why
thing,
not,
let's actually
dude?
go back to the antique because we can just take that line of code.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I think... So we already have an alarm system, don't we? Like a really simple one. And it's in Level Manager. And it's a variable called alarm sounded. If I right-click on that and then I go to find all references, I'll find the things that currently sound the alarm. I guess that isn't really what I want, is it? Because things like gunshots, I actually do want to sound the alarm immediately, and we'll deal with that later. What I want to work on for now is like the weapon behavior. When that is picked up, this be picked up by player thing, that should raise the alert level. So that was easy. And then how does using a guard work? It's in guard behavior. It's great. Everything I jump to, it's taking me to the exact bit of code I need. I guess because it's the last thing I worked on. When we do a knockout attempt on a guard, if it worked, then we should raise the alert level. And that's it for these incremental raises.
I guess whatever. It's your game. It's your game, bud.
Let's check it works.
We just live in
Stealing
it.
antique. Stealing a shotgun went up by 1, and now blowing him up also went up by 1. Great. And now I want... This thing doesn't do anything yet. That's one criticism of the system, if you really want to be harsh on it. It doesn't actually do anything. It raises a number that changes some symbols but doesn't ever relate to the game. And I think we should actually create... so there is a concept inherent to this that, like, when the alert hits are full, the alarm, that means the alarm has gone off. So let's actually write a thing that's public bool. Bool is a true or false. It's actually, rather than being a variable, it's going to be a function now, called alarm has sounded. And we don't need any arguments. All we're going to
Didn't seem to cause a problem if you go above the max, which is good. Yeah, it's raising suspicion. Yeah. Yeah, I was still thinking of it like setting the alarm off, but That's not what's happening. I got confused. I'm sorry. Where? There. Alarm is sounded.
Do is return whether or not the alert level is greater than or equal to the max alert level. So is the alarm bar full, basically? And anywhere that we used to check whether the alarm has sounded, we now want to replace with this. So we'll go back to Level Manager, right-click on Alarm has sounded, find all references, and we get things like the enemy spawner wants to know if the alarm sounded. So let's replace. We'll go to Alarm Manager, and then this new function name alarm has sounded. I'm going to copy all of that because we need to paste it in a couple of different places. What's next? Guard behavior wants to know. Oh yeah, like the knockout attempt shouldn't work if the alarm's gone off already. So we'll do that. Hang on, I missed out a false. We do need the false. So if the alarm sounded as false, then we're allowed to knock them out. In what is this? This is actually the same thing, and it's just to tell them whether they're alerted, whether they know where the player is. In our game, as soon as the alarm goes off, guards know exactly where you are. This one is actually trying to set the alarm sounded, and we don't have a function for that yet, so I'm going to come back to this. Level Manager itself, this right now at the start, Level Manager's start event is the start of the level, so it runs again each time a level is started. So actually, I think this is where we want to do references.alarm manager set up level, and we'll pass in. I think we'll pass in.
Wait. What? I've got a lot. I've got more going on here. Seconds before. This is level manager, right? Just before next level equals. Oh, I guess I never did that. Hopefully that's set. I gotta check. Ah, god damn. Yeah, it is. Okay, weird. It's weird. Okay, well, I caught it. Eh.
3 for now.
Alarm set. He deleted that as well, right? Didn't actually seem to cause an issue.
So now, rather than Alarm Manager sort of handling itself, Level Manager is going to tell the Alarm Manager to set up a level and what alarm level it wants. And so this start thing, I think I'll delete our only line of code in there.
All right, bud.
And then the last one in Weapon Manager is another one where it's trying to sound the alarm instantly. So we've got rid of all the times that anyone is checking where the alarm is sounded. They're all now looking at the Alarm Manager for that, which is great. And let's give us this function that we obviously need, where separately from raising alert levels, we need actually like sound the alarm now. Public void sound the alarm. And that is going to set the alert level to the max alert level, no matter what it was before. And it's going to update pips afterwards, because anytime we change the alert level, we should update the pips. Yes, that all looks good to me. So
Nice.
I wonder if I can refresh that window. I'm always looking for this function. I think it exists, but I don't entirely know how to find it. I'm just going to right click and say find all references again, just to make that window update. So now there's only 2 left, and they're both the ones where we just want the alarm to sound. So alarm manager dot sound the alarm. And guard behavior. This one for guards is when they see you. So they're allowed to set off the alarm just, telepathically. And that should be everything. So now, when the level starts, it's going to set a max alert level of 3. All these things we've already proved will raise the alert level. Everything in the game's concept of whether the alarm is sounded or not is going to be a reference to the alarm.
Hold the phone.
Sound the alarm. And guard behavior. Yes, that all looks good to me. So, I wonder if I can refresh that window. I'm always looking for this function. I think it exists, but I don't entirely know how to find it. I'm just going to right click and say find all references again, just to make that window update. So now there's only 2 left, and they're both the ones where
That'll
we
fix
just want
itself,
the alarm to
probably,
sound.
right?
So alarm manager dot sound the alarm. And guard behavior. This one for guards is when they see you. So they're allowed to set off the alarm just, telepathically.
Maybe it won't. It didn't give me a lot of trouble before.
And that should be everything. So now, when the level starts, it's going to set a max alert level of 3. All these things we've already proved will raise the alert level. Everything in the game's concept of whether the alarm is sounded or not is going to be a reference to the alarm manager, whether it says the alert level is full yet, and if anything wants.
Metadata file exists. The asset da-da-da can't be found. Shit. Okay, I didn't know that. Huh? Yeah. What I... Wait, did it just fix itself? In there. Can I just do this? Oh, you son of a fuck. I think it fixed itself right before I went and tried to unfix it. I don't know. No, okay, so now, okay, all right. Now, bam, huzzah, all is well. Oh, tight. That's sick. All right, now if I do... Hell yeah. Awesome. And then what about collecting 3 items? Oh yeah. Cool. That is baller. It's another very nice touch. It gives it life. It makes it seem like they hear the gun in a way. You know what I'm saying? I know that that's not what's happening, but that's what it looks like is happening. Beautiful.
To sound the alarm instantly, like firing a gun, which should, it can do that. So let's test stealing stuff first. Yeah, the guard went red, and enemy should start pouring out. That's alarm. Now let's test instant alarms. If I have an Uzi and I fire it, that should send it off immediately. It does, and the alert pips fill, which is cool. And what's the last one? It's guards seeing us is the last one that should trigger this. So also they should shoot us, and also sets off the alarm. Awesome. That's a little bit like a game now. There's like, you know, decisions to make and a threat. There is more I want to do here. Let me just remind myself what else there is and how we're doing on time. My completely fake limit is almost up. But what I want to do is have some visual effects for this and some a sound. I'd like there to be an actual alarm sound. So the idea I had was I want the lighting to change. When the alarm's gone off, it should be a much bigger moment than it is right now. It's just a bar filling. Before this, we didn't even have any visual feedback at all, except the guards' vision cones. And those vision cones are less relevant once they've already seen you. And I was looking at all these plinths and thinking, oh, those already have like a nice, calm, pleasant gold light. When the alarm goes off, I think they should change. And so what I want to do is, this is the light that they currently have. I'm going to duplicate it. And when the alarm is on, I'm going to change the color of this new light to like bright red. And I want to see what this looks like, so I'm going to disable the old light for now to see how red our new light is. It's quite red, but let's increase the intensity a lot. That's great. And then increase the range as well, because this is not just telling us the plinth is alarmed. It's like going to change the whole level. Let's just see what the too strong version is. That's too strong. But yeah, I do like it being super intense, and maybe with intensity you can go, oh wow, that's crazy. But actually, I really like how the core of it is like yellow with intensity. This definitely looks like an alarm level, doesn't it? So the idea is I just want a script that's going to turn off the normal light and turn on the other light. You could do a script, you could have like a light manager, and it could store these color and intensity values and switch them in, but it's like stuff like that I think is overcomplicating the issue. Really, when this is a matter of taste and it's a matter of aesthetics and stuff, you're going to want to tweak this loads of times. And I find it best just to have two different game objects. Here's the non-alarm version, here's the alarm version, and we just turn one off and turn the other one on. Don't try and modify the thing. And I especially want to do it here because I think this will be a common thing. This game is very much about the alarm. There might be loads of different things where you just want to turn something off and turn something on when the alarm goes off. So I'm going to add a component to the plinth called alarm switcher. And it's going to be a script that it knows about the alarm, and when the alarm is sounded, it's going to turn one game object off and turn another one on. So, no, I don't add a new one. I want to edit the one I just created. That's my time warning. And
Yo, that looks tight. I like that. It looks good to me. Hold on a second. Yes, I am the Lord.
I've had Prime 3 years now. I should probably watch a movie or something sometime.
Akos, thank you for 36 months. You know, I'm telling you, Prime Video will randomly have, like, if you're thinking like, well, I want to watch something, I don't know what though, I don't know what service it's on, just check Prime Video, because it's just a huge amount of stuff that it's randomly kind of likely to probably have what you're wanting to watch. You know? I wanted to make a quick little change because I want to see how it looks. This is going off-road from Tom, but I just gotta know. 30, 29. It looks offset, even though according to this it should be centered. Oh, maybe it's because that's probably because I built the level weird. That's why. Yeah. That's why that would be like that. The level is shifted as a group away from where it ought to be. That's the problem. What do you think? I think it's a better look. Yeah, alarm lights in progress. I mean, it's probably gonna come to something like this eventually.
I am the Lord.
Anyway, Catcom, thank you for 57 months. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It looks like it already has something close in there. Set skybox. Oh. Ah. So the trouble is the giveaway is lighting. Easier than fixing the positions of everything in the level. Okay. We're doing an alarm switcher on the plinth. Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right? Nah. Unsure. Undecided. Instructions unclear.
I will keep update, but I want a public game object unalarmed object and a public game object alarmed object. And all I want to do is check if first we'll say if unalarmed object is active in hierarchy, i.e. this one, the non-alarmed version hasn't been disabled yet. Is that just a variable? I guess it is. And the alarm references.alarmmanager.alarm has sounded. Let's close this so give it more space. So if the unalarmed version is on right now and the alarm has sounded, then that's not right. We've got to do something. We've got to say unalarmed object set active false, and alarmed object set active true. Now we could have an equivalent to this that does the opposite, where the alarm turns off and then we switch them back. But actually, in our game, we have no way of turning the alarm off, so we don't need that.
Roy.
And I think that's all that needs. So it's going to take the point light. I'll actually name these because it'll be helpful. Normal light to check we get it the right around. And this one is alarm light. I've called it loot, but we'll live with that. No, we won't. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. And obviously in the default version, we actually don't want it this way around, we want it the other way around. Now let's see how that feels when we set something off. There we go. That's an alarm. You definitely can't miss the state change now. And so the last thing to do is to make it make a noise.
Cool. Stereo.
Yes, I am the Lord.
Quiet evening pride tier.
Indeed. Thank you for 81 months. Very much appreciated. Oh. Now we're going to make a sound.
And I'm going to do this on the canvas. This is a little bit weird. I haven't done this in my own games yet. It's never. We usually in my main game we have like a particular thing in the level that generates sounds. This is. We just want something that works right now, and the quickest, easiest way to do it is to add a component to our alarm manager.
The event system.
Sorry, we are editing an instance right now. We've got to be careful about that. Go to canvas, go to open prefab.
The event system.
Get back to the alarm manager, and we're going to add an audio source to it.
Tom.
And I want an audio clip. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is from. Let's get the assets box up and find Lolk's alarm long. I'm just going to drag that into our project folder. And as soon as I do that, I'm also going to.
Wait. What the fuck? Oh, this is a, we didn't write this. Huh? Wait, what's happening here? I know that we put something together that just does what he was talking about. Or maybe we didn't. Yeah, there's this. The one-shot sound. It's kind of what he was already talking about. Oh well. Oh well. I like this better because it's like a knockoff. Whoa. Which one's the best? I kind of think it's number 3, even though it's rated more poorly than the others. I think the third one is the best, yeah. Tight. Yeah, Creative Commons. Yep, yep, yep. Phil Strahl. Hmm. Do I edit this directly? Oh no, we have this. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Here we go. Excellent. Oh, can I not use it? Oh, it has to be this? You son of a bitch. Dare you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is my graphics card crashing? Yep. Goodbye, Unity. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, Firefox. Goodbye, the town bank. Goodbye, old Photoshop factory. Goodbye, my whole computer. And then this is the part where an angel stops me from jumping off the bridge. Actually, I don't think he did a goodbye to her before he was going to jump off the bridge, did he? I think he did a hello to her, and I just reversed the whole thing. I do like the idea, though, of like a cheerful going around being like, goodbye, 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 and then as soon as you get to the bridge, just jump in. We're back, baby. Shut up. Yeah, yeah. Like that scene from
Yes, I am the Lord.
the
How are
IT
you
crowd.
liking game dev so far? I've only caught part of the first stream, but you seem to be picking things up fairly well.
Hey, Defective Program. Thank you for 36 months. I'm really liking it a lot. I'm deeply into it. I look forward to it every fucking day. Because I'm still in the good part. Oh. You know? You gotta be in that good part. Ah, Phil, you fucked up my formatting. You fucked it up. Oh well. But yeah, going through this tutorial with Tom has really got me the feel of it all, you know? Like, I feel like I know the Unity editor really well now, getting around it and how everything generally works, the hierarchies of things, the interactions of things, and I'm starting to really get a good grasp of how all the code works together too. I feel like it's really getting ingrained in my brain. It feels
But
good.
what I want to do is
Ingrained in my
have
brain.
some visual effects for this and some a sound. I'd like that to be an actual alarm sound. So the idea I had was vision cones, and those vision cones are less relevant once they've already seen you. I'm going to duplicate it, but let's add a component to the plinth called the non-alarm version hasn't been disabled yet. So it's going to on the canvas. This is a little bit weird. I haven't done this in my own games yet. It's never. We usually in my main game we have like a particular thing in the level that generates sounds. This is we just want something that works.
Yeah, maybe Cetho. I have to say, my confidence levels are not high enough to where I don't feel anxiety at that proposal.
Right now, and the quickest, easiest way to do it is to add a
If
component
that
to
makes
our alarm
sense.
manager. Hang on, sorry, we are editing an instance right now. We've got to be careful about that. Go to Canvas, go to Open Prefab, get back to the alarm manager, and we're going to add an audio source to it. And I want an audio clip. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Whoa.
Right now, we've got to be careful about that. Go to Canvas, go to Open Prefab. Sounds. This is we just want something that works right now, and the quickest, easiest way to do it is to add a component to our alarm manager. Hang on, sorry, we are editing an instance right now. We've got to be careful about that. Go to Canvas, go to Open Prefab, get back to the alarm manager, and we're going to add an audio source to it. And I want an audio clip. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is from. Let's get the assets box up and find Lolk's alarm long. I'm just going to drag that into our project folder. And as soon as I do that, I'm also going to track down our credits. Do we have a prefab for credits?
He's doing the same thing I did.
Oh, here it is. And credits text. So we're going to add the alarm sound. Lolks is their name. And back to the alarm panel. It's got an audio source. I'm just going to click the little target and have it associated with that Lolks thing. I'm just going to jump ahead and set the volume to a bit less than half. Max volume is a bit much, I happen to know. The settings on this audio source, play on awake. No, we don't want it to play right away, do we? Loop, yes, we do want it to loop. And
No,
then
no, we don't.
in Alarm
No,
Manager,
I'm not going
we
to.
will just public audio
I
source
refuse.
alarm sound. I think I will just set it in code, just say alarm sound equals get component audio. Source, because it's on the same object as us, so we can just get the reference that way. And then I think we don't actually have an update. I think we're going to create an update. I'll just type the word update. I think that'll work. Yep. And what I want to say is if alarm has sounded and the alarm sound is playing, is false, is not playing, then alarm sound dot play. And if alarm, vice versa basically, if alarm sound is false and the alarm sound dot is playing, then alarm sound dot stop make tone. I did just say that we'll never have a way of turning the alarm off, as far as I know, but looping sounds, there are so many bugs with looping sounds, like you really just want to be checking all the time, is this sound currently playing, and should it be, because if it isn't, if it shouldn't be, then for God's sake stop it. It's very annoying when this thing gets stuck playing over and over, especially an alarm sound. It's literally like the whole point of the sound is to be stressful and intrusive. Let's see if that works, and if it does, we're done. As far as I know, but looping sound. There are so many bugs with looping sounds, like you really just want to be checking all the time, is this sound currently playing, and should it be, because if it isn't, if it shouldn't be, then for God's sake stop it. It's very annoying when this thing gets stuck playing over and over, especially an alarm sound. It's literally like the whole point of the sound is to be stressful and intrusive.
Let's see what happens. Oh no! No! Okay, I have to make a change. I mean, I suppose this is operating the way he wanted it to, but I think we could go with just one. And it'll be okay. See if there was awake. If alarm has sounded and it's not playing, play it. So the way he's written it, it's just gonna keep doing it over and over. Yeah. That would be the better way of doing it. You are correct. Because right now it's checking over and over again. Has it played? 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 Which is unnecessary. We have achieved the desired effect. So cool. I mean, it's stupid, but also cool. These explosions are stupid too, these ones. They don't look good at all compared to to like the guard explosion. Yeah. Well, why is this in slow-mo? Did I have the menu up when it switched levels? Maybe I did. Might have done. I was wondering about like a messaging system, you know, like an events queue, that kind of thing, where you just basically chuck it out into the ether, and then the things that are supposed to do things with that listen for it and whatever. So you just have sort of like agnostic systems. Really? Unity doesn't have like a events well, yeah, I mean it's a typical object-oriented paradigm, right? Or patterning, I should say. No, I need the railgun. I can't live with the shotgun. It's simply impossible. There's no way. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I won't make it. Can't do it. Nope. Not gonna live. I'm gonna die. Whoa, I almost got them to kill themselves. That was close. Oh, damn. I'm sad that we're not really going to have time to do anything much more significant.
Let's see if that works. And if it does, we're done.
Who does, Tom?
Steel antique, steel and Uzi, got a gun. There it is. That's alarming.
Jesus.
God, this is terrible, isn't it? We will make better weapons next time. All right, I'm not gonna. To be honest, I think even 50% might be a bit loud for that. I'm gonna turn it down even further to like 30%. But yeah, that's it. We are done. And I think this is so close to a game now. You know, there's things to care about and things to pick up and stuff. I think next time we should either look into generating levels, because I don't want to make a bunch. Now that we have plinths and we're manually placing things,
I think
and they've
generating
got names and
levels is the next thing.
I don't want to be manually making a bunch of levels, then later scrap them all to make a level generator. So
only 2 left.
Or the other thing is like level to level progress. Like what do you take to the next level? That's obviously something we need to figure out anyway. Both in terms of like which bits of the does the
They're
house
both
come
an hour
with us?
long.
Does the level manager come with us, or is it recreated? But also
Yeah,
just
next
like,
one's
just score
generating
them. I
levels,
think
and
probably
then
yes.
the latest one is placing enemies.
Yeah, persistent stuff. I think some of the things you can pick up should be persistent upgrades. Like you get weapons for this level, but then you could also get upgrades like some armor that's going to protect you, or some rate of fire upgrade, something like that. But yeah, that's a job for next time. Hello. All right. This time.
No. Nobody? How can that be? I was really hoping that there would just be somebody. Oh, you think Ahuga? You think that's the... It truly is. I was really hoping for actually for some a guy just going awooga, awooga, but it's not here. The first one that's down here, or the one up there. Yeah, just fill the found need. Necessity is the mother of invention. Yeah, I have Audacity. I thought about because I think Sitho suggested like just remake the first level of Mario as practice. And I was thinking it would be funny to do that, but intentionally do it poorly. So I was thinking I could hand draw all the sprites, but poorly. Everything. So the whole like everything you see would be poorly drawn. And then yeah, all of the sounds would be like, like walking like that kind of thing. Walk, 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 walk. Jump, jump, jump. I don't know if it'd be funnier to say what the things are or to try to recreate them with mouth sounds. It would probably end up if I did it. It would end up a lot like the old Mario twins, right? Tiku tiku tiku. Bano nano nano. Oh yeah, you got to remake the songs too. Ba da ba ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da da. I would. My approach would be to do a very good job of doing it badly. So it's like fully functional and it plays like Mario World 1-1, but everything is bad looking and bad sounding, but meticulously so. Well, it's a matter of taste, BFA. Do it all from memory. Yeah. Oh yeah. No reference. I was. That's exactly what I was thinking. You actually nailed it. There are some things that I don't know if I remember though. Oh yeah, yeah. We do have the Chibli's awooga sounds. um, I don't know what it sound is like. Is there a jump sound? I think there's a jump sound, like a boing. I can't remember though. Like that. And then the coin. How does the coin sound go? It's just like, pating, pating, pating. There's the bricks. I think there's a sound when you stomp on a Goomba. There's going down a pipe sound, which I already have in my head as tiku tiku tiku. There's the 1-up. You can get a 1-up on level 1. I forget how that goes. I should really. I have it in my brain. It's buried in there. But now that I'm trying to summon it up, I'm like forgetting. It's like I know it's like 3 notes. Sarah jumps out. Boing. Every time. Ah, thank you, food. I remember now. The fucking 1-up sound is probably the most iconic, one of the most iconic sounds. And it's killing me that I don't remember how it goes. It's like, dee-dee-ding. No. Doodle-ding. No. How the fuck does it go? Hmm. Whip, whip, whip. Oh yeah, and there's a mushroom. If you get the super mushroom, there's like the growing sound, right? I can easily do all the art from memory. The one problem is whether I can actually reproduce the whole level from memory. I know that there's the first thing you run into is a Goomba, and then there's the block set that has 3 question mark blocks, and the leftmost one is the mushroom, and then there's 2 levels of blocks as well. So there's 5 blocks on the first row, the lowest row, brick, question, brick, and then above that there's brick, question, brick, with a Mario height between. Then there's a short pipe, tall pipe, tall pipe. There's a Goomba between the 2 tall pipes. I'm not sure if there's yet another tall pipe. One of those pipes leads to a secret coin level. And then after the last pipe, there's a hidden 1-up block above the bush. Then there's a pitfall. And then immediately after the pitfall, like a block or 2 in, there's 2 blocks. And then I think a series of 5 or 7 blocks. And one of the 2 blocks is a hidden block that will give you a fire flower. There's also 2 or 3 Goombas that come down off of that, followed by a Koopa. And then there's is it a series of 5 question blocks, or is it 3 question blocks? See, now it's starting to get fuzzy. I know there's another thing. Somewhere in there, there's a star. I think it's the middle question block of the question block array. And then there's like a sort of face of blocks, or something. Like, I think it's 2 on top, 4 on the bottom or something. And then there's the like sort of pyramid blocks. I don't know what they are, but they go up, and there's a gap between them, and then they go down. And I think there's a pitfall after that. And then there's a row of question blocks, which I think is all coins with 2 Goombas. And then I think there's the run up, the staircase up to the jump off to the flag to the castle. I'm probably in the ballpark. I feel like I'm forgetting some stuff. Am I like 80% there, 90% there? I'm not sure. Cool, cool. Yeah, I've only played that level like 1 million times. I should know it better than what I've just displayed. Huh. Yeah, so the background elements I'm completely fucked on. I mean, I know that it's... Wait, excuse moi? Wasn't that supposed to raise the alert level all the way up? Oh no, it adds just one. Right, yeah, when you murderate one. Right, right, right. Yeah, the bushes and the clouds, I'm not gonna remember where those all go. Well, the way I would handle that would be to just distribute them randomly along the level. Well, that's not how. Like, Tom does have a specific plan. Oh my god. Score 0. It's awesome. There's a reason for the way it behaves, and it's because Tom's vision here is that you should not be able to. It should be hard to avoid setting off the alarm. It's like a combination stealth and action game. So I think his intention is that the alarm will be raised on every level, that you're not really supposed to be able to avoid that. So it's almost like survival, really. You have to grab the right things necessary to survive the alarm phase of each level, basically. And then presumably you could increase your score. So, like, if you had a lot of antiques and one gun, or two guns, or whatever, you'd want to prioritize getting some weaponry before setting off the alarm, because once you set off the alarm, then you're under threat. But no matter what you do, you're going to end up setting off the alarm before the level is over. I think that's his thinking on this. And I like that he's got a sort of core premise of like, this is where I'm headed. Although I will say it's very threadbare. Before doing this, I was kind of unsure about my game ideas. I was sort of like, am I just doing that thing where people just come up with an idea, but it's not really a good, it's not fleshed out enough, or it's missing to it. But like, what Tom's doing here with this tutorial is showing how you can have like the goal in the distance, and then a lot of stuff just sort of happens along the way. You have those happy accidents that end up becoming gameplay, that sort of thing. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna probably just go ahead and call it here. But I am super enjoying this. I'm looking forward to doing more for sure. Like I've said before, I've wanted to get into game dev for forever, and it's just one of those things where I just always I would dip a toe in, and then I'd recoil and just be like, it's too hard. This is one of those things I don't know enough. And even when I went pretty deep into it, I still let that mentality come and overtake me and sort of kick myself back out of it again. I would say this is actually the farthest that I've been in now, because what I did previously, the most I had done, you could argue it was more, because I did pie game stuff, and I actually did make like a full game. It was just Pong, but it had like, you could play it, it kept score, it had a GUI, it had, it had an end, like a win or fail condition, and blah blah blah. It had all of that. And then I had made various other things like little prototypes and whatnot. And you would look at the sum of that and it would seem like I had done more. But this, just following this tutorial and going as far as I have so far with Unity, is more in the correct direction than anything I had done previously. So I'm feeling very excited about it. I already feel like I've got a really good grasp of getting around, like I've been saying, especially in the editor, but also in the code. I do feel like I'm at a level where if I were to jump into an existing code base, I would not be drowning. I could at least tread water. I could probably add or remove or alter functionality without too much trouble, without breaking everything. Setting out to write new stuff would probably still be somewhat of a struggle for me, but I feel like we've come a really long distance in a very short time, and it's keeping me hyped up about it. So, yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trucking, and I think before too long, we'll probably be able to start playing around with other things from scratch and start making prototypes and stuff like that, or do this Mario level idea, that kind of thing. So, we'll see. All in due time. For now, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for hanging out and watching, and for your help. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know if Space Cops is on. I don't know if Justin's going to be back or not. If it's not on, I'm probably going to do more Unity. So until tomorrow, everyone, have a great night.